Seniors, I have spent nearly 3 decades operating as a muscle rehabilitation and lower body strength surgeon. And if I told you this discovery was an accident, I would be lying. It took time. It took obsession. It took failure after failure until we cracked the pattern. My research team and I spent 126 days testing 932 different powders, extracts, peptides, amino blends, collagen forms, and plant-based muscle compounds, mixing them into morning coffee, tracking muscle strength, leg power, recovery speed, and balance response in adults over 60. 927 did almost nothing. Temporary energy, no real strength return. But only 5 out of 932, rebuilt muscle fibers in a way that shocked even us. Not hype, not marketing. Measured leg strength on paper. And once we proved that only 5 powders could truly restore muscle after 60, that's when the pressure started. Emails, phone calls, meetings with large wellness partners offering sponsorship on conditions. I was even sent a contract asking me to publicly recommend milder, less effective options instead, because a $1 trillion senior health economy runs on weakness. They profit when your legs fail. They profit when you stop climbing stairs. They profit when balance declines, when independence fades, when mobility shrinks year after year. Strong seniors don't fill hospital beds. Strong seniors don't buy braces, walkers, injections, joint surgeries, or lifelong physical therapy plans. Weak legs are business. Strong legs are freedom, and freedom pays no one. But the real breakthrough wasn't financial, it was human. So today, I am breaking silence. In this video, we will reveal the 5 powders to add to morning coffee after 60. And stick around because number 1 showed clinically documented muscle regrowth within 10 to 12 weeks, even without exercise. Something almost no supplement has ever achieved. Full scientific references can be found in the description if you want to see the data yourself. I encourage you to read them. Before we dive in, here's a quick question. How old are you? Comment your age below. We're replying to every single comment. Now, without waiting another second, let's begin, because number 5 is the first powder that quietly triggered noticeable leg strength recovery during our 126-day testing cycle, and almost no senior uses it today. Number 5, cacao powder. Most people think of cacao as nothing more than a chocolatey treat, something you might add to a smoothie for flavor or sprinkle on your oatmeal for a little indulgence. But the raw, unprocessed form of this ancient superfood contains compounds that scientists have only recently begun to understand in the context of muscle health and aging. A fascinating study conducted at the University of California, San Diego examined the effects of epicatechin, a flavonoid found abundantly in cacao, on muscle tissue in adults over 65. What they discovered was nothing short of remarkable. Participants who consumed cacao-derived epicatechin for just 2 weeks showed measurable improvements in muscle strength and hand grip force, without any changes to their exercise routine. The researchers traced this effect to something called follistatin, a protein that promotes muscle growth by blocking myostatin, which is essentially your body's built-in muscle growth limiter. As you age, myostatin levels tend to increase while follistatin decreases, creating a perfect storm for muscle loss. Cacao essentially helps tip that balance back in your favor, but there is another reason cacao works particularly well in coffee, and it has to do with blood flow. The flavonoids in cacao cause your blood vessels to relax and widen, a process called vasodilation, which means more oxygen and nutrients reach your muscle tissue exactly when they need it most. When you combine this with caffeine's natural ability to increase circulation, you create what researchers describe as an enhanced nutrient delivery window. To get these benefits, you want to add about 1 tablespoon of raw, unsweetened cacao powder to your morning coffee. The key word here is raw, because the processing used to make regular cocoa powder destroys most of the beneficial epicatechin. Look for cacao that specifically says raw or unprocessed on the label. Stir it directly into your hot coffee, letting the heat help release the flavonoids while keeping the liquid warm enough to dissolve the powder completely. Some people find the slightly bitter taste takes a day or 2 to get used to, but you can add a small amount of natural sweetener if needed without compromising the muscle-building benefits. For maximum absorption, drink your cacao coffee about 30 minutes before any physical activity, whether that is a morning walk, gardening, or your exercise routine. This timing allows the epicatechin to reach peak levels in your bloodstream right when your muscles are most receptive to its effects. But cacao is just the beginning, and the next powder on our list works through an entirely different mechanism that specifically targets the muscles in your legs. Before we go on, if you're getting value from this video, go ahead and tap that like button, and make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you never miss out on powerful health tips like these. Number 4. Beetroot powder. There is a reason elite athletes have been secretly adding beetroot to their pre-competition routines for years, and it has nothing to do with the vegetable's earthy taste. Beetroot powder contains extraordinarily high levels of dietary nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide, one of the most important molecules for muscle function and exercise performance. A landmark study published in the Journal of Applied Physiology found that older adults who consumed beetroot-derived nitrates showed a 12% improvement in muscle power output during leg exercises compared to those who took a placebo. 12% might not sound dramatic until you consider what that means in practical terms. That is the difference between being able to climb a flight of stairs comfortably and struggling halfway up. It is the difference between getting out of a chair easily and needing to push yourself up with your arms. The nitric oxide produced from beetroot works by improving the efficiency of your mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside every muscle cell that generate the energy needed for contraction. As you age, mitochondrial function naturally declines, which is one of the primary reasons muscles become weaker and fatigue more quickly. Beetroot essentially gives your mitochondria a tune-up, helping them produce more energy from the same amount of oxygen. Researchers at the University of Exeter found that this effect is particularly pronounced in the type of muscle fibers most responsible for explosive movements like standing up from a seated position or catching yourself if you start to lose balance. These fast-twitch fibers tend to deteriorate more rapidly with age, but the nitric oxide from beetroot appears to offer them some protection while simultaneously improving their function. Adding beetroot powder to your coffee might sound unusual, but the combination actually works better than you might expect. The slight earthiness of beetroot is masked quite well by coffee's robust flavor, and the heat from the coffee helps your body absorb the nitrates more efficiently. Use about 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder per cup of coffee, stirring thoroughly until fully dissolved. The powder should turn your coffee a slightly deeper brown color without dramatically changing the taste. For optimal results, consistency matters more than timing with beetroot. The nitric oxide benefits build up over time with regular consumption, reaching their full potential after about 2 weeks of daily use. However, if you have a morning when you know you will be more physically active than usual, adding an extra half teaspoon can give your muscles an additional boost. One important note is that beetroot powder can interact with certain blood pressure medications, so if you are taking anything for hypertension, have a quick conversation with your doctor before making this a daily habit. For most people, though, the blood pressure effects are actually beneficial, providing a gentle, natural reduction in arterial stiffness that supports overall cardiovascular health. Now that we have covered circulation and mitochondrial function, the next powder addresses something even more fundamental to muscle health after 60. Number 3. Collagen peptide powder. Your muscles do not exist in isolation. They are connected to your bones through tendons, wrapped in layers of connective tissue called fascia, and supported by a complex scaffold of proteins that most people never think about. At the heart of this support structure is collagen, the most abundant protein in your body, and also one of the most rapidly depleted as you age. After 60, collagen production drops by roughly 1% per year, which might not sound significant until you realize this compounds over time. By 75, you may have lost a quarter of the collagen that was supporting your muscles, tendons, and joints in your prime. This loss shows up as muscle stiffness, slower recovery from exercise, joint discomfort, and a general feeling that your body just does not move as smoothly as it used to. A pivotal study published in the British Journal of Nutrition examined what happened when older adults supplemented with collagen peptides while engaging in resistance training. The results were striking. Participants who took collagen gained significantly more muscle mass and lost more fat mass compared to those who did the same exercises without collagen supplementation. The researchers believe this happens because collagen peptides stimulate the production of new collagen in your tendons and fascia, creating a stronger foundation that allows your muscles to generate more force without risk of injury. But here's what makes adding collagen to your coffee particularly clever. Collagen peptides are specifically designed to be hydrolyzed, meaning they are pre-broken down into smaller chains that dissolve easily and absorb quickly. Hot liquids like coffee speed up this absorption even further, getting the amino acids glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline into your bloodstream faster than if you took collagen in cold water or as a capsule. These specific amino acids are the building blocks your body needs to synthesize new collagen, and they also play a direct role in muscle protein synthesis through pathways that are distinct from other protein sources. The ideal dose is about 10 to 15 grams of collagen peptide powder per day, which works out to roughly 1 to 2 tablespoons depending on the brand. Look for collagen that specifies it is hydrolyzed or contains collagen peptides, as these terms indicate the proper processing for maximum absorption. The powder should dissolve completely in your coffee without changing the taste or texture noticeably. Some people prefer to add their collagen to coffee that is cooled slightly for a minute or two, as extremely hot liquid can denature some of the protein, though this effect is minimal with properly processed peptides. Take your collagen coffee every morning consistently, as the benefits accumulate over weeks of regular use. Most research shows measurable improvements in muscle mass and joint comfort after about 12 weeks of daily supplementation. So patience and consistency are key. We are now moving into the 2 most powerful muscle-building powders for adults over 60, and the next one has been hiding in plain sight for decades. Number 2. Creatine monohydrate powder. If there is one supplement that has been unfairly dismissed by older adults, it is creatine. For years, creatine was associated almost exclusively with young bodybuilders and athletes, creating the impression that it was somehow